Okay, good evening, everyone. Here I am again. This is Phil Seralta. I gave you a video yesterday regarding approachability, and this particular video here is going to deal with something on a similar nature, a little bit different in the sense that we're going to talk about still using the approachability concept, but dealing with overcoming objections. This is going to apply to you when you are at a place of business or speaking with a merchant, and you've given your presentation, everything looks pretty good, and then you come to the end of the presentation and the merchant says something to the effect of, okay, great, but I think your price is too high, or I don't like your price, or I think you guys are overpriced with this kind of stuff. When they say that, one of the first things to remember is that probably, now this is not necessarily 100% true, but there's a little bit of trust that hasn't been built when they say it that way, like your price is too high, or they just don't like your price. It's usually because you may have not spent the time that you needed in promoting the company, promoting yourself, promoting everything that you need to do, and really speak about the product. Well, let me give you a couple of ways to overcome that when you come to that at the end of that presentation. The customer says to you, okay, your price is too high. The first thing you want to do is you don't want to get defensive, or you don't want to get, in a way mad, or, oh, what do you mean it's too high, type of thing, or just say to him, look at him, and just nod your head and say, okay, and pretty much that's it. Just say, okay, and maybe allow a little time to pass, maybe 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and after that, just say something like this. Say, is that your only concern with our programs, is the price? Say just like that. Is that your only concern with our programs, is the price so far? Everything I've shown you, the only concern you have is the pricing? This is called a technique called isolate and overcome. But right now, we're just dealing with that isolation of it. This is the only concern that you have with our program so far, is the price. And they may say, yes, no, whatever they say doesn't really matter, because you just want to make sure that you are connecting with this customer at this point. And then say to them, pause a little bit more and just say, what makes you feel it's too expensive? Now, ask it just like that. Don't ask it aggressively or very forthcoming. Just ask them very, very nicely. What makes you think what makes you feel it's just too high or too expensive? When you say it that way, it sounds more like a conversational. Because remember, we're always dealing with dialogues rather than monologues. As a quick review, I think you all know what a monologue is. Is that what what's his name would do on Johnny Carson, and of course all the other guys, Jimmy Fallon, all these new guys that do that when they come on. They do what is called a monologue. They just tell jokes and tell stories, and everybody laughs and everybody listens. That's not really a best way to sell. The best way to sell is with a dialogue, where there's communication coming your way and communication coming from the person that you're speaking with. So you want to keep it in that tone, dialogue. Oh, so what makes you feel it's too expensive? And just wait in a nice, with your nonverbals being, smile, relatively comfortable, and you're just having a conversation. That's basically what you're doing. And then when they give you the answer, they say, well, I might have seen it somewhere else. Maybe somebody else came in here and gave you the same thing, and blah, 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 blah. And as you and I both know, they probably gave them something totally different, and they probably just connected there or something, or somehow maybe liked that product, and they thought the price was cheaper. So when you hear that, just kind of maybe nod your head and say, okay, one thing I want to do is, I just got to say, I probably failed. I really failed to show you the value of what we were really promoting here, and I apologize for that, because the value of the product is tremendous. In addition to the product, obviously, and the programs that we're showing you, there was this program we talked about called Leads for You, and I think I kind of glossed over it, but let me just very briefly review it, because I think it really resonated with you at the time, but I don't think you really fully understood what the implications of that program were, and the ramifications, obviously, for your business. For example, based on what I've seen here in your business, you're looking at approximately a demographic that you said earlier between 18 and about 40, approximately there. And so, and I asked you how you were advertising, and you mentioned you were pretty much using Valpak and a few other pieces of advertising, marketing, kind of like what we call it the shotgun approach. And you were just kind of hitting everybody here in the area. Well, what this Lease for You does, which is very unique, is one of the only programs here that is in the market today that we offer, is that it's able to really strategically target that demographic that you're looking between 18 and 40, which is what you want, as opposed to everybody out there. So when you send out a piece of marketing or a request for them to come in, or invitation to come in to make a purchase here or have a service done here, it'll go to the certain households that we have targeted for you that have that demographic of between 18 and 40. So for example, if you were targeting my area, the guy next door to me is about, I think 40. The guy on the other side of me is about 38. He's a younger guy. So the targeting, the addresses that we'd give you would be for the guy next to me and the guy on the one side and on the other side too. You'd get it, but it would miss me because simply I'm not your demographic, and that's what we're trying to hone in, that this product here can offer you, is the opportunity to really target your demographic, which is changing on an ongoing basis. Roughly every 6 months, people are coming in, and some people are leaving, some people are coming in. So you want to target that market, and that's this program that we've shown you has a tremendous value and a huge payoff for your business, in the sense that it will be able to give you the right demographics coming in, as opposed to a ton of people coming in that may not have any use for services, but overloading your system. So that's one of the things I wanted just to bring up again. And at this point, let me step out of role and say to you, the salesperson there, is that something like that works very effectively with a person. Because, let me say this, you're not going to be able to change people's mind, but you can create an environment for them to make a different decision. Does that make sense? Let me say it again. You cannot change people's mind. And that's what we try to do. We try to change people's mind. And, oh, yes, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. And somehow we think they're going to say, they're going to take a no and say, oh, okay, yes, I'll definitely go with you. That's going to be very hard and difficult to do. What you want to do is create an environment where they're able to make a new decision and go in a different way. And that's the purpose of that particular strategy there. Let me give you an illustration. A movie a while back called What About Bob? I don't know if you saw it. It's about maybe 20, maybe 20 years, a little less than that. And it's a movie about a schizophrenic guy played by Bill Murray, who goes to see a doctor played by Richard Dreyfuss, Dr. Leo Marvin, played by Richard Dreyfuss, and they set up this incredible relationship between these two. And Bill Murray plays the part of this, like I said, a really weird schizophrenic and bipolar, and just he's scared of everything. Somehow, some way, they manage to go on vacation together. Bob somehow works it into where he can actually go on vacation with Leo. And in one of those scenes that they see is that Leo, Dr. Marvin, is showing his son Ziggy how to dive into the water, into the lake out there. And he's using all kinds of really hard ways and saying, you got to, because his son was pretty much scared of the water. So he said, no, you don't need to be scared of the water. There's nothing wrong with the water. Just look at it. There's nothing in there. And go ahead, put your hands together and just dive in. And there you go. And that's the way you do it. And the more he said it, the more the son got scared and scared and scared and scared. And therefore, nothing happened. Meanwhile, on the side there, Bob was watching, and he's also scared of the water too. So after the doctor leaves the son there, because he's frustrated because he can't get him to go into the water and dive in, Bob comes over and kind of sets up a conversation and a relationship, and builds a relationship with the young boy there. And just by talking back and forth, he manages to create an environment where they both go into the water, and the kid goes in the water and he's happy, and he manages to overcome that fear that he had of the water. So what's the moral there of the story is that one guy tried to do it in a very harsh way, in a well knowledgeable way, instructional way. The other guy did it more in building a relationship, and that's the goal here: is to build a relationship with that customer you're talking to, as opposed to just trying to tell him, oh, we're a great company, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Believe me, he's heard it before. He's heard it from everybody else. So you're going to come in and tell him something different? No, he's not going to buy that. So you got to create that relationship and ask those questions and really hone in on what he's trying to do. Last thing, um, one of the toughest things in this market, in any market for that matter, is to try to convince people that are really set on that no or set on that harsh. So I want you to consider using his rule called the 70-30 rule. The 70-30 rule, that means that 70% of the people you're going to go see will actually want to talk to you about your business and really have ideas and possibilities there for you to talk to them and actually make a sale. The 30% are those that are really tough and they're really harsh, and then you say, well, I really got to get this guy. I'm really going to really work hard to see if I can close him and close him and close him. And what's going to happen? You're going to get frustrated. So what I recommend, and let me suggest to you that instead of you worrying about that 30%, worry about or concentrate on that 70% of the people that really want to buy from you, that really want to have a conversation with you. Don't waste your time or spend too much time on a customer or a merchant or a business owner that really doesn't want to talk to you. Or if you, and you're trying to see, let me see if I can use this technique to switch him around and make him like me or this and that. As you get more seasoned, more advanced, you may be able to do that. But at the beginning, stick to the people that want to see you. If they give you a lot of pushback at the beginning, don't spend a lot of time there. You just get discouraged, and then you'll end up not wanting to do anything at all. So at that point, I would recommend just say, oh, fantastic, thank you very much. Shake their hand if they want to. Move on to the next one. And go on to people who really want to talk to you. And that's where you want to spend your time. It's called the 70-30 rule. So next video, we'll talk a little bit more about overcoming objections and something called isolating overcoming. Hope to see you then. Thank you and hope this helps.